Good evening and welcome to the Standards of Geekness podcast. I'm one half of your hosts, Evan Jones, aka Easy E.
And I am the other half, the one, the only Brian Mercer. And man, we haven't been here for a while. It feels like forever since we did a podcast.
Yeah, the wrestling podcast, anyways. D&D was a huge success. We'll get into that a little later in the show, but yeah, the last time we met was for the wrestling podcast was 3 weeks ago, I think.
hmm
Yeah,
it's been a little bit crazy in our personal lives trying to get this all to work out. But I'm happy to be here with you tonight.
yeah, same. Yeah, it's just been kind of a joy and then we've got a lot of other projects that we're working on, both professionally and personally. It's been a joy watching it come together. And first and foremost, for everyone that tuned into the D&D special, the launch of our campaign, the Ballad of Carlon, thank you from the bottom of our heart. Thank you. It means a lot to Brian and I. It means a lot to the entire crew for the D&D campaign. But yeah, it's been kind of an interesting time for me as a wrestling fan too. I'm going to go ahead and share these to the socials real quick, so that way you guys can make
While
sure
you're
you
doing
tune in.
that, I want to just echo the thanks from the entire team here at Standards of Geekness. A lot of the projects that come out of the YouTube page and the podcast and everything is my work and Evan's work. But with the Ballad of Carlon, it is a lot more people with uh, hands dipped in and adding their flavor to bring it together. And uh, with as many people and as much effort that goes in on the backside to see that reciprocated and that love come back from all of you guys, we really, really appreciate it. And um, I'll go ahead and let you guys know right now that we'll be back with our next installment of the Ballad of Carlon next week on Monday. That means that again next week we won't be having a wrestling podcast, doing the D&D content.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we blend this. But yeah, just to let you guys know, just alone with between the shorts and the videos we've done, it looks like we're averaging about 1.5, 1.6K in total views. So again, thank you. Every little bit helps here. Whether it's coming to watch the show, going to our sponsor at duelingguard.com, entering that code SOG15. It's been a little while since we said it for that 15% off. But yeah, it's been a really interesting time. Well, without further ado, enough chitter chattering. Let's get into some wrestling. First and
Last
foremost, wrestling. First and foremost, the GOAT results. We're running a greatest of all time tournament on the podcast page. It's been a really interesting to see how people's opinions, recency bias, favoritism, how people view wrestling kind of changes throughout this thing. But the results for the last one were Shawn Michaels defeated Roman Reigns. It was a clean sweep. I was shocked by that. Um, Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated John Cena. That was a little closer than because I was
that
thinking
one
it'd be a little
honestly,
closer.
I think that maybe the recency bias that we've seen throughout this tournament, um, like all with those two results specifically, with John Cena losing to Stone Cold and with Shawn Michaels defeating Roman Reigns, those were not the results that we would expect based on the recency bias of the tournament thus far.
Yeah.
Just flat out. But it's what I think is the correct answer. I'll like
Agree- Agreed. Ric Flair defeated Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Honestly, this one was closer than I thought it would be too. Honestly, I was kind of shocked Steamboat made it as far as he did, just because I was afraid recency bias. He'd be a victim of recency bias. Dude is one of the best of all time in the ring, no
Mhm.
doubt. Promo skills are kind of but you know, it was close. And then Sting defeated Kurt Angle. I voted for Kurt Angle. I really thought Kurt would have gotten the nod there. I know Sting's had a pretty big impact on the business. It's kind of a
I
apples and oranges comparison.
I think Sting is going to be one of those guys that's going to last a real long time in this tournament because he has the recency bias for some people, you know,
Hmm.
and he has that legend cred.
Yeah,
Like, you can take
it's
it all the way back to his battles with Flair in WCW and with the Four Horsemen, becoming the Crow Sting, with the NWO, all his time in TNA, the main event Mafia, his very underwhelming stint in WWE, and of course,
I
becoming.
try to forget that WWE run happened. Honestly, like it was dog shit. Like I still get mad when I think about that WrestleMania.
Oh,
But yeah, after those results, that leads us down to our final eight. Next week, actually, I'm gonna probably either Thursday or Friday. I'll put the polls up so you have the whole weekend to vote. Next week, actually, you'll have 2 weeks to vote. HBK versus Owen Hart, Ric Flair versus CM Punk, Stone Cold versus Undertaker, and Mick Foley versus Sting. So it's kind of weird how it shook out into some actual rivalries.
yeah. I was just thinking that, like, Stone Cold versus The Undertaker, that right
Hmm.
there, you're hitting me right in the childhood. Right there. That
Versus Sting, early WCW days. Like Cactus Jack versus Sting's matches, those are really good.
as far as WWF pay-per-views go, I would say that the first one that I really like, that was like, I have to see this, was the SummerSlam Highway to Hell,
Hmm.
with the main event being Stone Cold versus The Undertaker, and then of course you had Triple H versus The Rock for the Intercontinental title in a ladder match.
Yeah, but
Like, hey, by the way, this is the future of the business. I mean, like, that whole card for
it was stacked.
yeah, it really was. It really was.
Honestly, that might be my favorite SummerSlam of all time, and it's definitely the one of the earliest like ones I remember from top to bottom. As a kid, I think I was in 6th or 7th grade when that came out, and I was glued to the screen for the whole thing. It was pay-per-view at my aunt's house. It was a great old time.
I don't think there was another SummerSlam that was that quality until the birth of the Elimination Chamber.
I could definitely see that. Honestly, the early 2000 SummerSlams were kind of lacking. I'd also argue that the late 2000s Survivor Series were also lacking
Well,
because the
I
brand
think
wars.
the Survivor Series is a pay-per-view as a whole, and let us know what you guys think in the comments. If you agree or disagree with this. Survivor Series as a pay-per-view has completely lost its identity, in my opinion.
It might as well become War Games, the pay-per-view, because you don't have any of the classic Survivor Series matches. I pitched last year that they should have had your 2 War Games matches and 2 of the regular Survivor Series matches. I think it would make it far more interesting.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me because to me it's one of those. This should be an easy night for everybody.
Hmm.
Send two teams of five out there. You can have a couple of high spots from everybody, and then send the fans home happy.
Hmm.
Quick, boom, 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 all the way through, and then we go eat turkey. Like this, this
Yeah,
should be the
it's
Thanksgiving tradition, and it's not.
it's
The
just I definitely agree. I think it's lost its identity, and maybe it needs to be shaken up. But it is what it is. Um, AEW Wrestle Dream. We're gonna start there for you guys. They had a pay-per-view this last week. It was a really interesting show. There were some good matches. There was some middling matches, and there's a couple stinkers. But I really think that you know, I think the Death Riders angle, they're trying to inject some new life into that, which I can appreciate. I kind of need, we'll get to the Moxley stuff, but
I
the
was gonna
Death
say, do you
Riders,
want do you want to start with the Moxley stuff? Do we want to start there?
yeah, no, we'll end on that.
Okay.
Death Riders, Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Daniel Garcia defeated Roderick Strong in a collaboration. It was kind of a filler match, but it helps kind of fill the mid card spot. Um, Honestly, the Eddie Kingston and Hook match versus the Frat House, I thought was terrible. And that's no part of Hook or Eddie Kingston's fault. I think the frat house is just
Frat House.
an idea.
Okay, maybe again, maybe it's just me. This is just my feeling on it, but the Frat House is like a watered down version of the Spirit Squad.
Same
That's
thought,
how. That is exactly how they come across to
and
me. And
it
like
can
not in
work.
a good way, not
Yeah.
in the way that the Spirit Squad had athletic ability, and like they were just annoying as all hell, which made it
Hmm.
enjoyable for the angle with
Yeah, and
BS. No, that's not the
that's
vibe.
not what they're doing with the frat house. And one of our fellow Michiganders is part of the frat house, and it's been a joy to watch his career. But it feels like they kind of threw these guys together because they're all former college guys,
Mhm.
which yay, great. But like they don't have an identity beyond frat house. They're not like the Spirit Squad with that extra layer of annoyance or like honestly, I think they would benefit from having a manager, a mouthpiece. That's just me.
A
Uh,
lot. Well, they aren't able to draw heat in what seems like a productive way. And that's not to
correct.
say they're not drawing heat, because believe me, they're getting the booze. Um, but constructive heat versus just like basically go away heat. I don't want to quite use that term with them. I don't think
Yeah, it's not.
that's where it's at yet, but
No,
I'm
but it's
afraid
like
that's what it's gonna get to. You know what I mean?
honestly, I'd call it almost a no reaction because there's not a heat pop or anything.
No,
It's
but
just
there is the boo. They are getting boos, but
yeah, but it's
it's not a pop. It's not a, oh, here they come, boo these guys. It's a
oh
boo,
boo,
move
you're on my
on. We
TV.
want to get to the next part of the show.
Yeah, I think they could book them a little better. If I was Tony Khan, I would get them a manager. I would start rebuilding them. I would send them over to ROH again, have them build up a little bit of credibility. I think you could do it. Honestly, if you could find a way to get a manager that is connected athletically to a frat house or like some type of gimmick around it and make them an authority piece, I think you could book it correctly and you could do some things.
No, actually, I think the way to do it. I think you've already got the manager there in AEW, and a really, I think this is actually an easy fix. That would benefit, that can benefit both sides. I think that with an attitude change that would come with the team up, hook them up with MVP.
Have them be connected to the Hurt business or Hurt
Yeah,
Syndicate.
exactly.
Hmm.
So because
I
you
don't
have
hate
this
it.
the situation with the Hurt Syndicate, like you had the tag titles on them, right? And
No, they're no longer the tag
no,
champs.
no, I know they're not right now, but I
Oh.
said they had the tag titles on them, right?
Hmm.
Now, when they were the tag team champions, you're looking at them, and at the same time, they had that whole thing going on with MJF, and like
Hmm.
you and I were talking about, like, does this lead to MJF versus Bobby Lashley for the world title? And the whole problem that you and we were both having with that is, well, then the tag titles start to get lost in the shuffle. And where I'm getting to with this is with the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley's your top guy. He's your main event.
Shelton's your mid.
Shelton's your mid, and you need a tag team to back them up. And now here, this can be your tag team.
I mean, I don't hate it.
It's
Um,
not like both Shelton and Bobby don't have collegiate roots that they
yeah,
can
no, that
easily be
that's
able to
I
tie
think
them back to.
that's mainly I think why I don't hate it. I think it's actually a solid idea. I have a really out there idea. He loves to, talk shit and stir the pot, and he'd piss on Vince Russo's grave given the chance. Jim Cornette, have him come in, have him give the identity.
Oh, you just always want Jim Cornette to come in. I could pitch five guys, and you'd be like, all five of them would be great if Jim Cornette was
I,
having.
I think I agree with you. The attitude needs to change, and I think both our choices are different in a way. I think you could. I mean, there's a world where you could pitch. You know, mm, no, he's no longer with AEW. Well, if you want to do something really interesting, give him a real edge. Pair him up with Eddie Kingston. He doesn't have to be their manager, but he could be kind of like a instead of the frat house, maybe more like a street level thing.
Eh,
There's a lot of options. It's weak.
I
I
think
admit it's weak.
I think where Eddie Kingston is at, I think that I think he's in a rebuilding his own brand position right now.
Oh
A
yeah, he
lot.
was off TV for like 2 years. Just dawned on me. We haven't seen him in a while. Chris Jericho.
Well, okay. While I don't hate it, on the other hand, I am really tired of the Chris Jericho in a stable um, for
It's been
life.
done to death in AEW. I'll admit. It's funny because we never really saw him in stables in WWE or WCW. Really.
Yeah, tag teams.
Yeah,
Only
but never in a stable.
never in a stable. Not until AEW. Then it's nothing but stables, 24/7.
Hmm. Yeah. It's interesting. Actually one of the matches I really enjoyed at the night was Willing Nightingale and Harley Cameron defeating Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. I really liked that match from the ladies. Megan Bayne is she's a future of AEW in terms of how they're presenting her. Willow Nightingale as well. The ladies knocked out of the park with this one. Um, FTR defeating Jet Speed, another banger. And then another great match of the night, Jamie Hayter and Thekla. Jamie Hayter defeated Thekla. I was kind of surprised they had Jamie Hayter pick up the win here, but I don't think this feud's over with. Excuse me, guys. Especially as we head into Blood and Guts. I pitched months ago for them to have a ladies' Blood and Guts, and having Thekla and Jamie Hayter lead the teams, that makes sense. It wouldn't shock me if the heels pick up the dub at Blood and Guts.
Well, don't count your chickens before they hatch. There, we don't know that that's what's gonna happen, but it is looking like a definite
Well,
possibility.
Jamie Hayter challenged her and Queen Aminata challenged Thekla, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart a few weeks
Two
ago with two Blood and Guts. Yeah,
two
if
blood.
I
Okay,
recall. Yeah,
I guess I missed that.
that's a possibility. It's been a little while since we've been doing this. It was probably on the night where I fell asleep with my son in bed.
Yeah, this is all your fault.
Hey,
Exactly.
hey, at least I'm not dropping dark jokes online. That
Oh, that's a deep cut.
is a
That's
deep cut.
that was a deep cut.
That was a deep cut talking WCW 1992 electrified cage match. Uh, Jurassic Express defeated the Young Bucks in a $500,000 prize match. Honestly, the Poor Bucks gimmick that they're continuing, I love it. It's hilarious. The fact that they have like $37 in their bank account on the screen, and then like fans are paying them money to take photos. It's hilarious. Um, I want them to push this to the max. I think this could be bigger than Sad Corbin.
Oh, bigger than Sad Corbin. Well, I mean, don't
People loved Sad Corbin and then Happy Corbin. People loved it. It was actually they've proved it. People liked it. It took me.
no,
It was head scratcher at first, but it popped ratings. People liked watching him down on his luck, and then they watched him being happy. It
no,
fell off.
no. It's actually a really standard trope. Like it's been done with lots. Actually, Diamond Dallas Page.
Mhm.
Before
After
he
the
was the people's champ and everything, he was he had the Diamond Dollars, and then he lost everything,
mhm.
which was why he was wearing the blue jeans and the ratty T-shirts, and then he would come to the fans and became the people's champ and everything. Um,
Mhm.
Same, essentially the same gimmick. What I am a little surprised about is I do think it's interesting. In some ways, you're doing the same gimmick twice over. Like, isn't that really kind of the same thing as the Young Bucks gimmick? Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. The Hurt Syndicate defeated the Demand. Okay, so I need to get something off my chest. I don't know who in AEW creative or if the wrestlers are using it. Please stop using Chat GPT to come up with your stable or tag team names. Please stop. I haven't done it in a while, but do fucking better.
No, hold on. We're busting it out right now. I want to know here live on chat. Okay, got my Chat GPT up here so everyone can see it. My friend Easy E and I run a podcast called The Standards of Geekness, where we talk about professional wrestling. We recently started a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and we're about to become the best tag team on the face of the earth and win the WWF championships. And we need a awesome tag team name. What should our tag team name be?
Takes it a couple seconds to do its prompt. Now, I have to use AI in my daily work. I'm okay doing that. It doesn't make me feel great, but like from a creative standpoint, it eats away at my soul. But when you're
okay, we got 5 names here.
Oh God.
All right. So we can be the Critical Hit Crew.
I don't hate that.
I actually don't hate that either. Natural 20.
I also don't hate that, but it's worse.
Geek Mode, like Beast Mode.
No, get the fuck out of here, chat.
Roll for Damage.
Get the fuck out of here.
And the Power Levels. I don't even understand.
I rest my case. This just proved my point for me.
Yeah, no. That was the whole point of this little experiment.
Well, the thing is Ricochet, Bishop Kana, and Toliana, their faction's called the Demand. Number one, ain't nobody demanded to see Ricochet ever. No offense, homie. You're not at that level. Number two, why? What is the purpose of the Demand? What is your goals here? The Hurt Syndicate, their goal is to win titles and hurt people. We understand that. Are you demanding things? Are you in demand? I don't believe that for a second, but you do, you homie. The match was good. I sat there the whole time fixating while watching it on their fucking name. That's how cringy that was. Like, I'd call that dumber than the Vision. Also, probably Chat GPT generated. Seth Rollins is a visionary, so he's gonna have the vision. You couldn't do fucking better.
What are you gonna do with it now? Does it become like the Bark now?
No. The dog pound. Pound puppies.
Oh my God! Don't insult Pound Puppies. I loved Pound Puppies when I was.
I did love Pound Puppies too. I had a bunch of them when I was a kid.
Pound Puppies are S tier, man. Like
it was a great show, great toy. It was the precursor to Beanie Babies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Definitely. Kyle Fletcher defeat.
Go ahead. Oh no, go ahead.
Kyle Fletcher defeated Mark Briscoe for the TNT Championship. I really like how they're presenting Kyle Fletcher. The Callis family keeps getting bigger. We've got Okada. By the way, congratulations to Takeshita for winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship after winning the G1 Climax. He's triple contracted apparently for ROH, AEW, and New Japan now. Homie is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I said after his first match with Kenny Omega, I was like, this kid's a star. Strap the rocket, and they have. And It's really going to be interesting to see how they have the Callis family turn on him over time, with Okada saying, "I hit the wrong button, bitch." I love that version of Okada. Oh no, I hit the wrong button. But um, Chris Statlander defeated timeless Tony Storm. I think that this is a turning point for the Women's World Championship. I think it's the correct choice. As big of a fan of Tony Storm as I am, I think they've done everything they can with her right now with the World Championship. There's
Hmm.
not to say that they can't come back to her. To me, this seems like they're building up Statlander to eventually, she's obviously going to feud with Mercedes Monet. Um, that's the next feud, I assume. It would not shock me if Statlander probably by end at World's End loses the belt to Mercedes. It's just to me my one. So Statlander can beat Timeless Tony Storm, but Mercedes Monet can't. Like I don't know.
I think what they might be, and this could actually be some really interesting storytelling. If you know, if you end up basically having Mercedes backdoor her way into winning all the gold, like she
Hmm.
wanted to do it by beating Tony Storm, she wasn't able to beat Tony Storm. Now Tony loses the title, right? And
Hmm.
Mercedes comes back in, and Mercedes wins it. Now she has all the gold, and then Tony comes back in, and now Mercedes is in that top dog position with all the gold and being the bad guy against the woman that she couldn't defeat.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, you know, it's interesting. I'm not a big fan of Mercedes Monet, as everyone knows here on the podcast. I don't think her character has grown at all since she was Sasha Banks in NXT. She's a great in-ring wrestler. I won't deny that. I just feel like as a character, she is boring and one-dimensional. That said, I definitely would be interested in that. They did. Mercedes Moné defeated Mina Shirakawa to win the interim ROH Women's TV Championship. So now she's got 12 belts, breaking Ultimo Dragon's record. Um,
Yay!
yay!
Doesn't she
Um,
deserve it?
I mean, I understand why these promotions are doing it because she's one of the biggest female names in the game. It's gonna bring eyeballs. People are gonna pay to see her, whether it's meet and greets or come to buy a ticket. She's a draw. I won't deny that. She's popular. I won't deny that. She's just not my cup of tea.
Or I don't know whose cup of tea she is. No, I'm just being honest. I don't know personally anybody who has told me that they're enjoying the Mercedes Monet experiment. If you're the person who is enjoying the Mercedes Monet
Let
experiment,
us know.
then
Let
yeah,
us know.
let us know. And something
Yeah.
else that I want to let you know is that you should go to duelingguard.com and you should use the code SOG 15. You can get yourself 15% off of all of your gaming merch. We got there, they got, excuse me, we got deck boxes, they've got binders, they got playmats, they got everything that you could possibly need to look the coolest in your local game store. So go ahead and check them out and let them know that Standards of Geekness sent you.
Yeah. Yes, their products are great. Bro Dito defeated Okada and Takeshita. Obviously, that is a given. Both of them guys are already champs. They don't need the tag belts. Hangman Adam Page defeated Samoa Joe. I'm gonna say this. I've been saying it for 20 plus years. Heel Samoa Joe is what's best for business. Like he's a fucking menace, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman, his reign continues to solidify. It'll be interesting to see who they have him face next. Um, I think there's a world where you could have Okada and Takeshita feud over trying to fight Hangman. I think you could have the Callis family. There's a lot of ways you can go down that rabbit hole. There, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing a fresh base in the main event. Hangman versus Bobby Lashley could be good. Uh, the Hurt Syndicate versus Hangman, that could be something. Um, I think Powerhouse Hobbs could be another good feud too. Obviously, Hangman feuding with the Ops. And then Darby Allin defeated John Moxley in an I Quit match. Um,
Here we go.
so I have thoughts. First and foremost, I thought this match was okay. I thought a lot of the Karens, and I'm calling them Karens, online complaining about letting their children see that match. Well, number one, that was like 11:30 at night. It's a TV rated 14 program. Um, it's up to you as the parent to determine what your child watches. It's not on them to base their programming around you. If you want something geared more towards younger people, their WWE is there. Stop being a
Oh,
fucking Karen.
wow.
Stop being a fucking Karen. Do fucking better, and stop harassing Amanda Hoover online. Stop. Like, you're a piece of shit for doing that.
I understand people being made uncomfortable by what they saw in the ring in that match. Spoiler, that was the point.
That was literally the point. And yes, I
Like,
saw it coming from a mile away, and even I was like, oh,
the
that's a
thing,
choice.
the thing that I think is lost on a lot of people is, when you're a wrestler and you're in the ring, you're still trying to draw out those emotional feelings from your audience, the same as a comedian would, the same as a singer would, the same as any performer, any artist would. Okay, so why are you surprised that you have the bad guy doing things that are making you as the viewer feel uncomfortable? Like,
That's the point.
deep down, not like them. That's the idea.
Well,
I
and the
mean,
thing is I think Moxley and Darby executed this match perfectly. I think it made you feel uncomfortable to get you to feel for Darby, to get you to root for him to overcome. I thought this match was good. I thought it was a good main event. If there was something that was going to take place after the World Heavyweight Championship, it was this. It was the correct show, the correct case. I do think this show went a little too long. Just saying. I think they could trim it down. I don't think every single one of these matches needs to be on a pay-per-view. I understand you want people to get that experience.
my issue with the main event, actually, this might surprise you, considering like I just had all these heaping praise for him when we were doing the best of tournament breakdown. Hey, can Darby win a match and have his own like spotlight moment without Sting?
Yeah, that was my biggest sticking point. Is I didn't hate Sting being there. I'm okay if Sting shows up and takes out the rest of the Death Riders,
Mm-hmm.
but having Sting put Moxley in the chokehold, I felt was unnecessary. I think you undermine Darby's credibility by doing that, and it
Yep.
just kind of makes it seem like Darby can only win in big moments when Sting's involved.
That became the big issue I had at the end. At the end of the day, I gave two shits about the fish tank,
Fish tank, yeah,
and my big issue was I thought you were retired, man.
yeah.
Like I was ready to move on to the next chapter of this story. I want to see what Darby Allin can do on his own now. Like you were his mentor. We know you were his mentor. And I mean, if anything, I would rather see Sting like crap kicked out of him and Darby being the one that's coming in to save the day. Like
Yeah.
I don't want the dynamic that it's always been. I want there to be a new, fresh dynamic. Darby Allin was the chosen one, the face to be given the face paint. Basically, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also have another sticking point. I have now reached the conclusion of this that tomorrow night on Dynamite, the Death Riders need to kick John Moxley out of the Death Riders. He's lost the World Heavyweight Championship. He said, I quit. The perfect way to flip this story on its head is to have either Claudio or even Garcia put the same plastic bag or something else over Moxley's head and make him pass out.
It would
Kick
be
him out.
nice. It would be nice to see Claudio. Like I like this idea. I like the idea of Claudio being the new leader of the group
Yeah.
because you know going all the way back to WWE, we wanted to see Cesaro as like a main event singles guy, and Claudio Castagnoli as part of the Death Riders. While it's been cool and everything, he's still always kind of been
The B player.
the henchman,
Hmm.
the backup.
Yeah. The caveat here, in my opinion, is losing Moxley, you lose the guy that has the promo skills. That's the caveat. I think you have to bring somebody in that has promo skills. No offense to Claudio, he doesn't, he can cut kind of a good promo occasionally. I don't hate the idea of bringing in a manager for them. Um, you know, I'm just not sure who would fit that vibe unless they're going to change their dynamic. Not Jim Cornette. There's a world where I could see Stokely Hathaway kind of fitting in if they could get him to do that. But like, he's more of a comedic heel manager.
Take Moxley's wife.
I got hoes, Mox.
She's coming with us. Like, just make it real hardcore.
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. All right. Well, before we jump into SmackDown, make sure you go to duelingguard.com, enter the code SOG for 15% off all your merchandise needs. Sleeves, deck boxes, binders, mats. I've been asked actually if they're going to do dice. I'm going to reach out to our contact to see if they're looking at doing dice. I know they do deck boxes, but that's one of the best suppliers in the game. So SmackDown this last Friday, we saw Ilya Dragunov return and defeat Sami Zayn for the U.S. Championship. I was a little shocked. I kind of thought they forgot about him.
Chat GPT brought him back.
Oh no! Look at that. Would you look at chat?
No,
I'm sorry.
that's a
The Triple
debunk.
H.
That's a debunked rumor. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead. We were actually going to talk about this. We
Yeah.
had it at one point on our docket, but the rumor has been debunked that Triple H is using Chat GPT to help with the booking. But it was pretty funny there when like we got a good Raw and a good SmackDown, and immediately we're being told, "Yeah, this is booked by AI," and you're like, "Huh." Maybe that fixes. Maybe we need more shows booked by AI. No, we really, really don't. We really, really don't.
Don't do that.
As much as you might think that an AI can be a very useful tool. It is not the fix all. It is not the the
Yeah.
replacement that it's made out to be.
Yeah. It's a tool. Think of it as part of Batman's utility belt. It's a tool in your arsenal. It's not the tool for every job. And then we had Jacob Patu getting attacked and injured backstage. Apparently, he has some oral surgery coming up for health reasons, so they're writing him off for a period of time. They had Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes have a match. It was a solid match. I'm kind of tired of Cody's title reign, if we're being honest.
Me too.
It's just boring because it's the same dynamic every fucking time. Like, put the strap on Drew. Have him feud with some other baby faces. Do something to shake it up because I don't want to have Cody all the way until WrestleMania. It's just boring.
Oh, excuse me. I 100% agree with you. I'm I'm over the Cody Rhodes um, time. I think it's time to move on to the next thing. That's not to say that I don't think Cody shouldn't still be a main eventer. Absolutely, he should. But there comes a point with wrestlers where you see them hold a championship for so long, and then you go, you know what? Do they really need the championship in order to be the top guy? And you
Yeah.
realize, no, they no longer do. Like Stone Cold got to that position. I would say
On
Undertaker got to that position. Brock Lesnar got to that position. John
The
Cena.
Rock.
John Cena he's not the champ right now. He's still the man, isn't he?
Yep.
So just because you don't have the championship anymore doesn't mean that you can't still put on very compelling matches and very compelling storylines. And I would even say that you can have more compelling storylines without a championship because now you have to make it about something personal and it can't just be about winning the gold around your waist.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely agree. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair defeated Sol Ruka and Zarya for the women's tag team titles. I'll be honest, I kind of forgot that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair were the tag champs for a minute, but I think that's just because of they've been inconsistent with the booking. So
But they're still a good tag team. Look, I'm going to defend these girls a little bit.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I believe they're a good team. I think I'm blaming the
This
booking.
combination is one of the most over acts I like that they
I
have.
don't disagree. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think that the bookers forgot they existed for a minute.
Now, I will say that when it comes to the women's tag division, I don't, and I'm not trying to down on women's wrestling. I don't want that to be where this comes, how this comes across though. But I don't think that having a women's tag division on both shows is the way to go. I think that WWE would be better served to have just one tag division, and whether that encompasses both shows or is only
That's
on one show.
that's what they're doing because they've been
That's
defending it on NXT.
not,
Um, there's not a women's Raw tag team champion. Yeah, it's just the one set of tag belts because they've been defending them on NXT. They defended them on SmackDown. They're just not on Raw that much.
well, then maybe it's just the way that it's being presented.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't disagree with you. Yeah, because they've held the belts for 80 days.
I really thought there was another set of tag team titles. Like I'm still sitting here thinking, feels like there's another set of tag titles. It shows how disconnected I've become from current WWE product.
I mean, I don't hate you. It's the same way that I feel that the men's tag belts for SmackDown are kind of the Wyatts are gonna feud with the MFTs, I guess.
Why is
They may.
feuding with MFTs is so forced. It's
I'm for it, but like, I need to know why. That's what I need to know. I need to know what does Solo Sokoa have with Uncle Howdy, or like you got to give me more than just I need
well,
to put gold around my family's waist because they are my family
no,
tree.
no level of it made sense. You had all the tag teams in there. The Wyatt Six show up, and then the MFTs show up. The MFTs never wanted anything to do with any of the other tag teams.
Well,
Or
the
they
thing
in for the
is,
tag titles. Like,
well now they interrupted the singles match on SmackDown between Dragunov and Sami Zayn after Ilya won. Ilya didn't even get to really celebrate. He got his ass beat right after. Like you undermined his moment for that. That was his first main roster title win. Sammy did a good job with the U.S. Championship and building it up and building, Dragunov forward.
can,
And that's that.
can I just also say that was a phenomenal match. The two of
Oh,
those
it was
matches.
great. It was by far the best match of the night. Um, to me, it just I I'm not a believer in Solo Sokoa as a lead character. I never have been, and the longer this goes, the more I feel validated. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think he's a lead player, the lead
No,
character in a group.
no. Actually, I was just watching a clip. It was, had the MFTs were in the ring, so it was on the mic, and he's talking, and I realized it's the character he's portraying now. That's a
Hmm.
that is a really big problem. That cocky, arrogant. Uh, Bro, you've been here for a minute, and you have literally nothing to be cocky about.
Yeah, like
You
you lost like every big pay
everything.
per view match you've had for forever. You won the U.S. title twice, I think, and
Was it once
that
or
was
twice?
it. And
It was once or twice? Yeah, but
yeah, and then I mean, before that, you beat John Cena, but before that, you literally lost everything, every single match before that on the main roster. Like they did jack shit to protect him, and like
have a did he have an intercontinental title run? My
North
imagine.
American Championship in NXT.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Tomato potato. To me, they're trying so hard to force him to be something he's not. Very clearly, he's got a sassy, cocky edge naturally, and it's interesting. But when they're trying to make him appear as a tough guy, I have a hard time believing it and suspending my disbelief when it comes to that. I also just I don't believe that he's the guy to generate heat.
Well, it was a lot more believable when he was the silent heavy who was, Street Fighter.
Mm,
That was a
absolutely.
lot. That was a lot more believable, and um, the second he opened his mouth, the second I stopped believing in him.
Damn, damn, damn. Went full Daniel.
Just being honest.
No, that's fair. I mean, I don't fault him. He's trying. I just think that he got a lot of props for things during the Bloodline reign that he didn't really have anything to do with.
Well, I think that's true, and then I think you put him in an an unwinnable position. There was never a chance that he wasn't going to get completely overshadowed by Jacob Fatu.
Well,
Like,
yeah, and
second
he was
you put,
overshadowed by Roman Reigns in the original Bloodline too.
oh he was
Like,
he was overshadowed by Jimmy in the original Bloodline. Are you kidding me? Come on,
you're not wrong. He's overshadowed by Sammy too.
man.
It's really interesting to just see how their thought processes play out. Um, I personally, I don't think the MFT stuff's going anywhere. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. Kind of hope they do,
I mean,
for his sake, anyways.
a tag team title reign.
Yeah, but are they going to freebird it? That's what the Wyatt Six have been doing for months.
I
And
I really okay. So I really think that the whole reason that they have, like, outside of story, you know what I mean. I think they're gonna say whatever story they want to say for it, but I think that what is actually happening is, I think that's our what we're getting now as the setup for our War Games match is going to be the MFTs versus
I
the Wyatt Six.
I thought we were getting Shawn Michaels' team versus Triple H's team and the
I
NXT special.
okay. I heard. I remember, like, I saw that. I don't know if that was a real. I think that
I would
might.
rather have that.
I think that was just like a joke promo thing that they were doing because it was, the NXT night, and it was an opportunity just, through the promo to have William Regal say War Games. That's what I really think that was. I don't think that's actually a match that's happened because we haven't heard any further build up towards that.
I guess that's
The
true.
And then on top of that, that's an NXT thing, and Survivor Series is main roster. So
That's why it's really convoluted, but who knows?
when you look at the when you look at the two teams, well, Wyatt 6 minus one woman and Nikki Cross equals 5 that you can put into war games. And yeah, those numbers will match on up.
It's the least exciting war games I think I could ever think of.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no, it's terrible. It's
like
terrible. And it's even worse when you consider the fact that, you know, we talked about how this could lead to uh, a bloodline civil war. We talked about how it could lead into bloodline versus division. We talked about how it could be the vision and the bloodline being forced to work together against the Judgment Day, which I actually think could have been really interesting.
yeah, which I'm wondering if they're gonna break them up. Like,
The
I
Judgment
don't
Day is such an enigma to me of a group where, like, these guys consistently, every time that someone gets injured or there's a problem on the day, these guys show up and save the day. How many times has the Judgment Day been the highlight of the show when really they shouldn't have been?
You're not wrong. I don't disagree with you.
And yet they get no respect. They get no love. I mean,
Well,
I'm gonna say it right now. I want to see Finn Balor win a world title. I'm tired of this crap, man.
I think
Put a world
he's
title on Finn.
I think he's in the mid card for life at this point. I think that's where he
No,
wants to be.
no. I want Finn to beat Cody Rhodes, and then I want a Finn versus Dom main event at Mania. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Crack's a hell of a drug, folks. Moving on to speaking of cracked out things and the Judgment Day. Well, the tag titles, the Raw tag titles, were finally defended for the first time in 3 months.
Can
What
you
happened
call
to
it?
30
Wait,
days?
can you call it defending if you just lose?
You're not wrong.
It's not.
The Judgment Day lost the belts to AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. I did find it really funny when they were coming up with names, and they're like, "What about Dragon Styles?" And he's like, "Yeah, I like that." What about AJ Lee? And he goes, "I think that's already taken." I thought that was pretty funny.
Okay.
But yeah, Hodgepodge Tag Team wins the tag titles over a tag team again. This to me is just Vince McMahon booking. It's lazy. I understand he gets the tag belts on Styles, gets him a championship in his final year. Dragon Lee gets some exposure. He gets that credibility.
I would be down with I would be down with it more if it wasn't Dragon Lee. I hate saying that. Like, I'm not trying to knock on Dragon Lee, but the thing that made it acceptable to me in the past for two just singles guys to win tag team titles was they were always like, well, these are two like huge name singles guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, uh, Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels win the tag team titles. They're both singles guys, but they won the tag titles. Why did they win the tag titles? Oh, because they're both just phenomenal wrestlers.
Yeah. And
But
this isn't it.
then the other side of that is the seasoned tag team can use that teamwork to ultimately
Against
take
them.
the titles back off of them because they're not a true tag team. And
Exactly.
that dynamic in tag team storytelling is something that I think has been completely lost in the modern day.
Yeah. It was really interesting to see Braun Breaker walk into Raw with the world title. He had to hand it over to Adam Pearce. Seth Rollins is legitimately injured. That's one of our topics for the night, so we'll kind of put a pin in that. The whole the "say please" thing made me cackle a little bit, but
Would have been a whole hell of a lot better if it would have led anywhere. But again,
it led to a battle royal.
what's the point in making Braun Breaker come across as this arrogant and condescending and dangerous and scary individual if you're not going to do anything with him? What was the point in having the imagery of him walking in with the World Heavyweight Championship if he's not even going to be a part of the match?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, no, it was lazy, honestly. Um, Dominic Mysterio defeated Rusev for the Intercontinental Championship. He used typical heel tactics. Uh, Dominic's so over that he could turn heel on a heel on a heel on a heel. The
I love that spot with the hammer in the boot.
Yeah, and then he kicks him in the groin, sets up the 619. Anyways, that was
So
great. Becky Lynch retained the women's Intercontinental Championship via disqualification against Maxine Dupree. Um, they're clearly pushing Maxine, which I'm happy for. She's come a long way in the ring. I really enjoyed that part after the match with her and Paul Heyman, where she called him a weaselly little prick, basically. It'll be interesting to see how when Seth comes back, how they handle, the turn. I don't think they did a good enough job of addressing why they turned.
to me, okay, this is kind of my issue with it. So why should anyone like I get why like people I get why Seth wouldn't trust Paul Heyman and why Seth wouldn't, why he'd be up against Braun Breaker, why he'd want to go back after Bronson Reed. What I don't get is why he why would anyone help him ever?
Yeah, like he's got to have that come to Jesus moment.
Like this, like him getting turned on by the Vision. Really, like, think about it. Like, if you're CM Punk and you're watching that, if you're Roman Reigns and you're watching that, if you're LA Knight and you're watching that, if you're Jey Uso and you're watching that, you're going, dude got what he deserved.
Exactly. Well, and honestly, like, and I guess we'll dive right into this the Battle Royal. Jey Uso winning the Battle Royal to become the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, even though there's
He's
already another.
Really good at those throwing people over the top rope matches.
He's really good. It's the Samoan Battle Royal battle IQ.
Isn't this like his third Battle Royal win? To get
at least second. He won the Rumble and then he won that. Actually, yeah, I think third because I think he won one before Mania.
Didn't he win
before the Rumble to face Gunther and lost?
Face Gunther. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Okay.
But like Punk just pinned Jey Uso last week in the main event to win that match. Like, why? And I have an idea of why, and it's kind of an out there idea. I guess before we dive into the topics, make sure you go to duelingguard.com, enter the code SOG15 for your 15% off all your gaming merch needs. It'll make us HARD.
Oh, wow. A callback.
A callback. Yeah, so with Seth being legitimately injured, I think there's a number of ways you can kind of course correct with this Vision storyline. I have two. One that I think's probably more likely. One that I kind of think could be a huge swerve. But before I get into that, I feel so bad for LA Knight at this point. When is he going to get a legit one-on-one chance at a world title? Like, I think him versus Punk would have been phenomenal.
Well, I don't understand why we're not doing LA Knight versus Cody Rhodes.
Oh, yeah, that would be great, too.
It could be really interesting. Like, the whole attitude is that LA Knight has, where he, like, going up to people. And just imagine him going up to Cody Rhodes. Hey, I deserve a title shot. I've busted my ass. I've gone through all these guys. I deserve a shot at that gold. And Cody is the champion that would look at him and go, "You're right. You have. And tonight, I'm going to beat your ass for this title." All right, that's all we needed.
Yeah,
like, let's go.
Well, and you could turn LA Knight heel there, and it would work. So I've got two ideas when it comes to this. I'll go with my more likely one. The new leader, the Plan B, is Brock Lesnar. Could you imagine Braun, Brock, and Bronson Reed as a faction?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to leave now. I can't do it.
I knew that would be your cue to go take a piss, but yeah, Steve, dummy, yeah. That's my one of my favorite TNA segments. But I think it's likely because A, it sets up credibility to that whole Plan B weird thing they were doing like a month and a half ago, which made no fucking sense. B, it gives them a legit top guy that that can teach these guys how to be monsters. And I think it'd be an interesting dynamic to have Brock teach people. I think it'd be unique, at least, in that regard. Now, my outside the box, 4 letters, 1 word, yeet. Turn Jey Uso heel.
See,
Instead of becoming Roman, he goes full Roman basically, and he
no,
joins.
I think with the because of the way that it was done already. At this point, I think you need to go and you need to find another member, but I think that that third member should be a lower tiered member. And I think you need to make Braun Breaker the guy.
I would
Like
like that. I would prefer that. I just
you
know.
you had him take out the world heavyweight champion.
Hmm.
Like
And
like you could have had anybody on the roster come out and put Seth on the shelf, but you chose him. Well, now you need to do something with that choice. It's if you're going to take out a top guy, you
you need
become
to
a
have it.
top guy. You kill a king, you take his place.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And the reason I didn't mention that one is because A, I thought you would, but B, I just thought it was likely. But after how Raw played out last night, I don't think that's likely. I think that it's a
They seem very afraid to pull the trigger.
yep,
That,
gun
that,
shy was the
that's the
word
way
I
that's the
gun
way that
shy.
it's go. And did you also notice that with the so you go back to that segment, right? And Braun hits the spear on Seth. Paul looks shocked. Uh,
Bronson Reed looked shocked.
Bronson Reed looks shocked. Braun Breaker's like, you have a choice.
Make a
Want to
choice.
be with me? You da 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 da. Bronson Reed's like, all right, I'm in. Tsunami. And then they turn to Paul, like, all right, you can either be with us or you can get your ass beat. And Paul's like, okay, I'm gonna keep my health. Like that's how
Well,
that whole segment came across. And now this whole idea that this has been planned out for weeks and stuff, believe me, I wanted it to be planned out for weeks.
yeah, no, I think that diving headbutt spot that we saw at Crown Jewel, I think that was done on purpose. I think the injury was already there at that point because he was already having issues um, raising his arm. Um, there was a spot where he went for like kind of a snapmare, and he couldn't really lift Cody correctly. Um, I think that diving headbutt was done to specifically make the injury sell. I joked on social media that you never go full Benoit. Well, you never go full Benoit. I don't know. To me, it seems like they're kind of booking from behind the 8 ball instead of like trying to get it in the pocket in the correct way. I do agree. I think Braun Breaker as the top guy would be great. You could bring Austin Theory into the fold. You could make it all new blood, all new people that you're building for the
Ooh,
future.
ooh, I like that.
I have one other idea that just popped into my head. All ego Ethan Page. Have
Ethan
him.
Page, Ethan Page would be cool, but I feel like there's still more to the story that he can tell on NXT,
I
and
agree.
I think that we can keep him down there and don't need to keep filling the main roster void with NXT stars when you have other guys on the roster that can fill those spots. I think Austin Theory is a wonderful idea. I think he fits
Yeah.
that. I think he fits that dynamic perfectly, and with the time that he's been gone, to have him come back now with a new, more like sinister attitude in
Yeah.
line with Braun and Braun, I think that would be nice.
Or yeah, that could be nice. I mean, there's
I
a
mean,
number of ways you
I
could do
don't
that.
really want to see him. I don't need to see him like follow up any shit with Grayson Waller or anything. Like, just get him
I
off
was
the
never a fan of those two together, anyways.
Grayson
So
Waller over on SmackDown. Have
yeah, I think it just makes more sense to do things in a way that like is cohesive, and it feels like WWE's booking, at least the last 6-7 months, has not been cohesive since WrestleMania. Yeah, I would say
yeah.
everything feels like it's been reactionary instead of building towards the future. And I think that when they focus on putting quality stories on, they've done a great job. We've seen it with the Bloodline. They
Well,
haven't been able to repeat that.
I think this is a big opportunity too because you know as much as it sucks having guys get injured and have to take time off, the timing of it couldn't be better.
Yeah,
This is the time that you want to have a couple of your guys taken off of it, taken off air. Did I lose Evan? Did Evan lose me?
nope. Am I back?
Evan's back. There we go.
Okay. Apparently my internet went out for a second. That was weird.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, this is the exact time of year when, like, if you're gonna have a couple of top guys go out injured, be taken off TV, that can actually be really beneficial because you can bring them back at the Royal Rumble or in the road to WrestleMania and get
Mm-hmm.
those big marquee matches set up, and get that big pop for the comeback.
Absolutely. I definitely I agree. I mean, there's a lot of options you could go with. I think that group probably does need a veteran hand beyond Paul. Um, you know, you could go the younger route. You could go with Brock. I think the Jey Uso one is really interesting for a number of reasons because heel Jey turning heel, joining forces with Paul, with Braun, with Breaker. Balance between good business and good storytelling. WWE can expand and grow the business, but the stories are underwhelming. You're completely right there. I mean, the stories have been completely underwhelming. They haven't yeah, they're drawing the highest gates ever because they're kind of resting on their laurels. But like
They're
when you,
resting on their high ticket prices. This is what it
well, I
is.
mean, it's not sustainable. Like if you look at our economy, politics aside, the economy's not in a good shape. When people have to have GoFundMe's just to afford basic groceries, economy's just not there. And when you keep raising your ticket prices up, it's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. Um, you know,
But but he's not wrong. It's
yeah,
the storytelling has definitely fallen off, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that having CM Punk versus Jey Uso is the proper way to go. Leading into this, like, personally, I think it should have been CM Punk versus Braun Breaker. I like if you want to have Jey Uso and CM Punk as the next step in that, fine. Uh, CM Punk can win the title. Breaker doesn't need to win, but Braun could still be a part of that main event and get some credibility for taking out Seth Rollins.
there I got my here. This is some of my feelings of Jey Uso versus CM Punk as an option for the main event scene. That's gonna put some butts in seats. I'm sorry. I would have much rather see CM Punk versus LA Knight. I think it would have been far more compelling. I think it would have built another future star at that main event level. Punk can still go over. You can have the Vision. Maybe you have LA Knight turn heel and have him join the Vision after the match.
I
I think
also
that'd be
find,
interesting.
I also
There's a lot
find it
of
really interesting. Do you feel like it really feels like they're like leading up to Jay versus Jimmy?
which
And
apparently we didn't learn our lesson from WrestleMania 2 years ago.
exactly, exactly. Like I know
That
that you
was,
guys had your time cut short, but that was the worst match on the show by a country mile.
dude, that was Lawler versus Cole level of bad.
Super
Like,
kick,
and I know you're both capable of way better than that.
super
And
kick,
maybe you want a do over.
super kick.
Honestly, it'd be funny. Honestly, with all these people doing super kicks, one of these days I want them to try to super kick each other at the same time and kick each other in the groin. I think that'd be a funny spot.
Super kick, super kick,
And frog splash,
super kick,
headbutt.
super kick.
It's
All right, all right,
well,
all right. I'll super kick. I'll leave it.
I just think it'd be really interesting to turn Jay heel here because people wouldn't see it coming. I think that
What do you mean? Wouldn't see it coming? They've been telegraphing it for a month and a half.
but seeing him join the Vision is my point. Having him join the Vision, have him become the guy to help lead them, have him become that angry main event Jey Uso, but like far more sinister, and have Roman be the one that has to deal with him. Have Jay win the belt through nefarious means, then you could have Roman versus Jay at WrestleMania.
I guess that could be interesting
It
for
flips the dynamic.
flip of the dynamic.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Speaking of flips of dynamics, ESPN, the WWE deal, take it with a grain of salt. We all know here that Uncle Dave is notorious for being loose with the facts. But when it comes to the money things, he tends to be mostly right. The WWE deal, apparently, according to inside sources at ESPN, is underperforming.
This is hold on. I just gotta cut this out. I think this whole story is bullshit.
I think so too, but it's news, and I wanted to talk about it.
But right. No, I understand. I understand. Like the whole idea that ESPN isn't getting the viewership numbers off of WWE. Can I point something out to everyone? All right. So a few weeks ago, there was this guy named Charlie Kirk, who I'm not going to get into any political stuff. I'm just going to state some facts. Unfortunately, he was assassinated. As a result, this guy named Jimmy Kimmel, who was employed by ABC, said some stuff. President got upset. ABC took him off the air. As a result of that, a whole bunch of people started canceling subscriptions, and they canceled them to a three tiered package. That was Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. The number, a good majority of those subscriptions that were canceled were not picked back up.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where the data is coming from. I think that they have their sources wrong, and that's what I was going to go into too. There's that. I also think you're out your fucking mind in this economy to try to charge people $29.99 a month for your service, and then another $29.99 for the fucking PLE.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here. Disney raised their rate from $79.99, which we used to have the Disney subscription plan. I canceled mine a few months before the whole thing with Kimmel and all that, just because I was like, I saw the rate increase going up, and I was like, no, I'm good. I'm not paying $160 for ESPN and Disney Plus because they're merging Hulu into Disney Plus. You're telling me for a year I'm paying $160. Okay, what does that work out to be? Let's say take that $159.99 divided by 12. You're paying $13 a month, so it's not terrible. No, that doesn't.
That doesn't sound right. Let's do that.
I hit it wrong. $79 a month. My calculator is barking up.
I think Evan, you need a new calculator.
It's my phone, my brand new phone. But anyways, it works out to be.
Your calculator is doing Scott Steiner math. Is the problem?
Let's pull their number from their website. So their premium everything right now, Disney Plus premium with no ads is $189.99 annually, and that's going up another $50. So overall, you're still looking at like a huge disparity in people being able to afford it when it comes to this economy. Like, I don't know about you guys. I got Netflix and I got like 3 other subscriptions these days because it's basically become cable from the 90s, just divided with extra steps.
Well, and I was going to talk about this a couple weeks ago. So I'm watching Raw on Netflix, the main event of the show. Okay, and we do our entrances. We get through our 2 entrances, about 1 minute of the match, and we go into a commercial break. Commercial break where each commercial lasts approximately 20 seconds, and we have 6 commercials, which add up to a 2-minute block. Then we come back. I see these guys wrestle for a couple more minutes, and then we go into another commercial block. There were 2 commercial blocks in the course of this match. This is an 8-minute long match that had 2 2-minute long commercial blocks. It's 4 minutes. That means half the main event was taken by commercials. This is a service I pay for?
Yeah. No, like, I get so mad, and it reminds me of when they were on the USA Network where they would do a commercial. They'd wrestle for like 5 minutes, do a commercial block break for 2 minutes. We'd come back, and like a whole bunch of shit had changed in the match, and you're like, why? Why? I feel like the old talent.
Oh, go ahead.
I feel like the old talent, like John, Punk, Randy, etc., are hard carrying right now, at least for me. Even Roman had to push harder than the stars in the past. Gunther's cool, Drew's grown, but I don't know. I mean, you're not wrong. I can see that they're trying to build future stars. I just think that
that's the whole point. Is they're so gun shy about it. They've kind of pushed some of these main event guys, your Roman, Cena, Randy, into almost like super main eventer status, where like you have your main eventers and then you have your super main eventers that can't be conquered unless it's by another super main eventer.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
It's a weird arms race almost, is the way I would describe it. Like, no, I definitely agree with that. Like, Cody had to conquer Roman and The Rock and them, and like.
But Cody was a super main eventer, so he could. However, Seth is not a super main eventer,
so
and that's why, and that's why he had to sneak his way in and cheat in the middle of a triple threat and do all this underhanded stuff, and like, but he can't win it on his own.
I think WWE's kind of failed at building future stars. Like, honestly, if you look at the roster as a whole, you remove Cody, you remove Roman, Cena, Punk, Drew, these guys that have been at the top level, Brock.
Oh, I don't even know
those.
I don't. Well, see, the thing is, I don't even know if you include Drew in there right now. Like
the way they booked him,
yeah. Drew's booking has been so lackluster lately. I don't know if you include Drew in that.
Yeah, I guess put him back in the main eventer, not the super main. But like, if you look at the roster as a whole, what superstar have they built? And don't give me Jey Uso. I'm sorry, he's not. He gets a crowd reaction. He sells merch. If that's your metric, sure. But people are not paying to see Jey Uso as he currently is. He's not the reason they're tuning in. He just happens to, be something that it's like the hype man of the product. It's cool seeing him go yeet with the infant in his hand. That was great. Great money shot moment.
The real question is, we need to build stars for the future. So who are those stars going to be? The time to build those
was
stars is
yesterday.
now.
It was yesterday. Like honestly, the vibe I'm getting these days is a lot like the early 2000s, right after The Rock and Stone Cold left. There's not
I
that
was
like
I was gonna say it feels like 1994.
I was reading on TikTok somebody called this the new generation, but
Yeah,
spelled it NUW. Like
it's not wrong.
not wrong. I mean, because Roman's got like probably 3 to 5 years left in him. He's gonna retire and go off to Hollywood like The Rock. Cena's out the door in December. Punk, he's 45. He's not long for. A lot of these guys that are up there, even Jey Uso, they're all in their late 30s and early 40s. You know, wrestlers are a lot better at taking care of their bodies. These days we don't see wrestlers in their 50s and 60s like we once did. But like you failed at building future stars. And honestly, that's where I give the nod to AEW's. They have built future stars. They've built them for their audience. They have done that. The Darby Sting moment aside, Moxley's help. Hangman's been built up. He's become a star. MJF's become a star in
MJF,
his own right.
huge star,
Tony Storm.
Darby. I mean, even lower. I would even say lower card guys like Hook or Danhausen would have a future if AEW was to close its doors.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of those guys built names on the independent circuit, but they've taken those and managed. There's an act that you can do on the independent circuit, and being able to translate that act onto television doesn't always work. And so I applaud the guys that have been able to do it.
Yeah. And if WWE closed their doors tomorrow, I think half these guys wouldn't have a place in wrestling anymore. Just because you're big and athletic doesn't mean it translates to success. And I think WWE kind of needs to get out of their own way. Pick someone, get behind them, help build them up. You have a performance center to do this. You've got coaches to do this. Clearly, you are failing them. And as a byproduct, you are failing your fans. And I know this sounds like a dunking on WWE. I love the WWE. I grew up watching the WWE. I grew up. My cousins were Hulkamaniacs. I was the kid who liked Ric Flair. I I loved Stone Cold. I wasn't big on WCW in the early days of Nitro. I'd watch it when my dad would watch it because he liked watching it too. But I was more of a WWF kid. But loyalty only gets you so much, and between raising your ticket prices, the nonstop bombardment with ads, and the way you book talent, I don't think I can continue watching the product if it keeps going much further.
You just brought up a point, and I don't know. This might even be the point to end on for the night. You talked about watching wrestling with your dad. I remember like that's how I got into watching professional wrestling, was watching it with my dad. And now you and I are both fathers. And the reality is, if you wanted to take your son to a wrestling show, could you afford it?
I mean, I could. It just, I'd have to budget for it.
But not like, but it wouldn't be just an easy thing. It wouldn't be something just like, hey, WWE's coming to town. We're going. It'd be like, oh,
it would be they're coming to town. Let me look at my bank account, make sure all the bills are paid. All those extra steps. And honestly, it's cheaper for me right now to take him to an NHL game than it is to go to WWE.
There you go.
The Lions are playing the Steelers. Steelers are my team. Everybody knows that. In December, that's the most expensive thing that I would go to right now around here, and that's looking at $150 to $200 a pop per ticket, and I'd at least get some value out of that.
There's an off-Broadway show that's coming to town that I looked at ticket prices for, And yeah, those tickets are cheaper than going to a WWE house show.
which is wild. And I think, yeah, I guess a good way to end this. Um, I think it's kind of an interesting caveat in a way. Nick Khan said that he believes wrestling fans will go to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania 43. I don't know if you guys know this, but let's look up how much a flight.
How much? How much is a flight to Riyadh?
Right now, it's a 17-hour flight, $1,540 round trip.
So that's before you have your tickets. That's before you have your hotel. That's before any
Passport.
food, merchandise, passport. Yep, we gotta get a passport now.
Well, and
Um,
not to mention knowing the local laws, so you don't end up in a foreign country's jail because over there you fuck up, you could end up under the jail. Um, there's so many nuances there. I think it kind of validates WWE's out of touch with their audience, and it's like we touched on in our wrestling, politics, and economics episode.
I'm
I
all
think,
about. And no, I want this to be clear. I'm all about WWE doing international pay-per-views. I think that is great. I think it's great that they're going all over the world. I think that it makes it more of an attraction when they do come to your town, and that's an awesome thing because there was a period there where it felt like they were coming every couple of months, and it's just like whatever, they'll be back. Um, that being said, just because you want to go to Saudi Arabia because that's where you get your money, none of us want to go to Saudi Arabia. We're not getting paid to go there.
yeah, like it's a place that I wouldn't mind visiting once in my life, but it's not at the top of my list. Like if you
Um,
named, I could tell you 5 other foreign cities that I would much rather visit that I believe would be more beneficial and more
and you
lucrative.
and you didn't hear, they just did the show in Perth, and you didn't hear that pushback from fans about doing a show in Perth. And I'm just gonna say, and I know we got one diehard fan who's watching, who's gonna just go nuts when he hears me say this, but yo, why in the blue hell does London not get a WrestleMania before Saudi Arabia? Like the
Yeah,
fans in the UK, they deserve it. They've earned a mania. Like, give it to them.
I think that they've surrendered the UK to the AEW. I think they have.
Yeah,
Same way
well,
I think it's the same way they surrendered the UK to outside of occasional pay-per-views in the 90s when WCW was because WCW was always more popular in the UK in the 90s. So I think it's the same thing. I think they've surrendered the UK there.
when you look at when you look at matches like Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog, and yeah, it's hard to believe. Like, these are classic WWF moments.
Hmm.
Um, and I just think that the fans in the UK, they're those rabid kind of fans. I think that the the United Kingdom is a much more friendly tourist destination, and I think that there's as you branch out into that international world, you know, it doesn't have to immediately go to super foreign.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can ease out into it, and I think the market that you've already had in the UK that you've done with Raw or with house shows and stuff, with occasional pay-per-views, give them the fucking give them the real show.
yeah.
I want my soapbox.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us for the main podcast. Upcoming projects: D&D returns next week, as we said.
Woo!
Episode 2, we'll see the adventures of Calorix Ironscales, Bartholomew, Cuthbend the Third, Orin Salt Tongue, Flay, and DM Carlon, and Alden Wardcock.
Alden
Probably
Wardcock, Orin Salt Tongue.
Yeah,
You
probably
both-
butchering that. I'm a little sleepy, but yeah, I'm excited for that to see what happens. Thank you guys again for the huge turnout on the videos.
I'll thank all of them. I don't know if I'll thank you. Our characters don't really get along.
They don't, but that's honestly think about like how when we first met.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, we were Evan and my relationship. Evan and I have been friends for over 20 years now, and I'm gonna tell you right now, we started.
You hated me.
As right. Well, we didn't get along out the gate. I didn't say I hated you. That came later. It was you were a rival. Then I strongly didn't like you, and then I warmed up to you over time.
Well, the problem here is, with that dynamic, it kind of plays into how we're able to do this. I'm not going to spoil what I have planned. I don't want you to spoil what you have planned, but I think as people see that dynamic grow, it's going to be really interesting. And they'll see that kind of how our friendship actually evolved in the game.
That's true.
Obviously, it'll be different based on the scenario, but
we do have a little clip. Did you want to play the little clip?
Yeah, let's go ahead and play a little clip. Let me go ahead and find that.
With that, we fade into the evening hours before it is time to rest for your long ordeal in the morning. Having your meal, the warm, fresh, crusty bread just baked for you specifically.
Delicious. Reminds me of the bread my mother used to have the cook lady make for us. Wonderful. Did you have anything like this where you come from, Dragon Man?
Well, not usually. It was a delicacy.
No, I wasn't speaking to you. I meant the purple one.
It's been a long time since I've had a nice, hot, home-cooked meal. This is really delicious.
In the days to come, in these trials, we may not be so lucky. So I hope you all eat well, because it may be the last time for a long while.
Don't be silly. I'm sure a woman like you can cook well.
Oh, indeed. And I have my hands in the herbs here, so all the herbs and all of these dishes are handpicked by me myself. But we may not be so lucky. We are in the Blight Lands, as they say here.
Kelrix, did you thank them for all their hospitality?
Well, I would if some obnoxious prick wouldn't interrupt me when I was talking. I was trying to talk about my experience with this food, and you rudely interrupted me. Why would you do that?
Yeah, Yuval, why would you do that?
No, do not deflect, Pipsqueak. I was talking to you.
Me?
Yes.
No,
Mr.
You misunderstand. Your brain is small. You're not able to comprehend. Just because I wasn't speaking to you doesn't mean I interrupted you. Now I am speaking to you. So say something worth hearing.
I'm going to eat you by the end of this. Oh, that was beautiful. Well, that's that's emblematic of what you guys will see. I've got more Pokemon Pocket profiles coming up, and I'm going to be doing a Magic the Gathering Value Vintage format premiere for the channel. It's a new Magic the Gathering format that I've kind of dived headfirst into. Kind of short synopsis, guys. You're given a $30 budget to build your deck. You can use anything in all of Vintage Magic. You just follow the vintage band restricted list, and it's a really fun format. It's kind of wide open. Reminds me of the old hometown hobby, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering days.
Nice. As for me, a lot of my work has been being focused on the new Dungeons and Dragons content, but we're gonna see if we can get a new vintage video game profile up later on this week. But yeah, I can't wait for next week, and I hope that all of you are going to tune in next Monday to join us live for the Dungeons and Dragons adventure. But if you can't, just like this week, the following week we will have a recap episode, a nice little bridged version, condensing down all the good action that comes out. So.
Yeah, and hopefully this time with a lot less audio issues. We're still working out some of the kinks there, but overall it was still a lot of fun. As you can see, I've got myself a nice new headset, so that'll help. I don't necessarily think it was me, but better to help make things easier.
You know what? At the end of the day, this is all a new adventure for us, both both our characters and doing something with this many people coming from all over the world. I mean, all of our from our, whether it's our dungeon master or our players, are all coming from different parts of the country and getting together for this game, and we're all learning. It's an adventure for all of us. So
yeah,
we hope you will come along with us on that adventure as we grow.
And then one last final time, make sure you go to duelingguard.com, enter the code SOG for 15% off all your gaming merch needs. That's going to do it for us this week. Have a good night, guys. I'm going to go take myself a Bartholomew.
What the? Good night, everybody. What an ass. Elrix Jr., I mean.